One of the things that customers don't know is that even when they book themselves on trips or hotel stays or wherever, anywhere they book, there's always commission built in on everything that they book, and they don't realize that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's commission that's going to somebody else from wherever you book from, because there's always a percentage in there that goes to somebody. There's networking and there's relationship. And when I say networking, to me, it's a relationship. I have to have a relationship with that business. They have to have a relationship with me, because if it's just networking, that's just a word. A relationship is, you show me, I show you.
What if the most valuable thing you bring to a business is not simply your product or service, but your ability to see opportunities other people overlook? Welcome to episode 50 of Sculpt and Create, where fitness fuels creativity and helping artists, entertainers, and creators grow physically, personally, and professionally. I'm your host, Trea, Fit Artist, and today I'm sitting down with Alfie, Tito, Garcia, founder and CEO of Aries Elite Journeys, Aries Global Enterprises, and Aries Headquarters. But Alfie is not your traditional travel advisor, and this conversation is about far more than booking flights, hotels, and vacations. Alfie has built his businesses around solving problems, connecting people, and becoming a strategic extension of the entrepreneurs, entertainers, athletes, and organizations he serves. In this episode, he takes us behind the scenes of travel and event logistics, from negotiating hotel blocks, transportation, venues, meeting spaces, and other accommodations to make sure clients are supported when unexpected problems arise. He also explains why booking everything yourself may not save you as much as you think, and why working with the right advisor can give you more than a reservation. It can give you somebody who understands the details, protects your time, and helps carry the responsibility. But the conversation goes even deeper. We discuss the difference between collecting contacts and building real relationships, why transactional networking often leads nowhere, and why entrepreneurs can limit their growth by believing they have to build everything alone. Alfie also shares the personal experience that shaped his service-first approach and reveals the vision behind Aries Headquarters, an AI-powered business operating system designed to help entrepreneurs organize information, manage their operations, save time, and make smarter decisions. Whether you're an artist planning your next event, an entrepreneur building multiple ventures, or somebody searching for stronger partnerships, this episode will challenge how you think about service, collaboration, and growth. Because sometimes the next level is not reached by doing more alone. Sometimes it begins with the right relationship. Let's get into it. Episode 50 with Alfie, Tito, Garcia. And while you're listening, make sure you hit subscribe or follow and drop a comment with your biggest takeaways from the episode. Welcome to Sculpt and Create, where fitness fuels creativity and helping artists, entertainers, and creators on their journey towards physical, personal, and career growth. I'm your host, Trea, Fit Artist, and who I got with me today is Alfie Garcia. He's a founder and CEO of Aries Elite Journeys and Aries Global Enterprises and Aries Headquarters. Welcome to the show, Al.
Hey, thanks for having me, Trey.
Man, I'm glad you can make it, man. So, I know you're a little nervous. This your first time doing a podcast, right?
It's the first time, so it's you're breaking me in right now. So I'm here. Let's go with the flow.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. This is gonna be the first of many for you, man. And we're excited to see where it takes for you. But before we begin, man, let everybody know about how they can find you. Learn more about your services and so forth. So basically, just set your links out.
Cool. Yeah. Aries Elite Journeys, .com, pretty much that's my website. You could also follow me on Facebook, Aries Elite Journeys on Facebook, TikTok's the same title. I keep it simple, Aries Elite Journeys. So, you can pretty much catch me anywhere there. I also, have an opportunity to give people for a mentorship. If people are interested in travel. So I actually have a link for that, which I'll post that in here at some point with you, Trey. But I don't have that. It's not Aries Elite Journeys, but it has Aries Elite Journeys in it for sure. But yeah, you can pretty much find me anywhere in the socials under that name. It's pretty easy. Aries at ARES, not ARIES. A lot of people get confused with that one.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Y'all check Alfie out, man, and see what he talking about. Get you on your travels and more. All right. So let's get into it, man. I guess we can talk about that first thing aspects of it, like as we were talking about before the show. Let's talk about the travel. Like, so we're really just going like this. Like, what all is it that you do?
Pretty much what I do is, obviously I help individuals with their travels, whether it be excursions, weddings, getaways, honeymoons, what do you want, like pretty much resorts, even concert tickets. If you're looking for concert tickets or sporting events, I handle all of that, all the logistics that come with that from a consumer side. On a business side, I pretty much help other businesses and I partner with them to be an extension of their services. I mean, no matter what kind of business they're in, whether it's me offering them, certain discounts or vouchers that I offer for their clients so that their businesses can grow, or offer just my services as an extension of their business where, they don't have to mention me or they keep me out of their business name because it's their business, but I can help out in the back end. So I do a lot of business to business and consumer related travels and support.
Okay. All right, cool. Now, when we first met via Alignable, what interests me is that you wasn't just a ordinary travel agent or advisor, where you're just trying to get them to one destination to another and so forth. You actually handle the logistics of it where they, for their hotel stay, they travel to the hotel or whatever they got going around and stuff like that. So that really like stood out to me from the normal people I heard. So can you talk about that? Like what logistics do you really help with?
So it's pretty much anything. I mean, I'm not the traditional travel agent. I'm very outside of the box in the things that I do. And I always see value in anybody I talk to. And like when I met you, Trea,
Mm-hmm.
I know when we first met
Mm-hmm.
and you were like, hey, man, don't waste your credits on trying to get, and in my mind, I was like, man, it ain't no waste. I saw what you were doing and what you were doing for your community, and I already saw how we could partner up in some way, and that's pretty much what I do. I see opportunities where people don't, and most travel agents are like what you say, they want to offer trips, and of course we make money like that.
Yeah.
That's how we make a living.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's my approach is more like, what can I do for you? How can I help you to grow?
Mm-hmm.
And I focus more on the logistics. When it comes to logistics, it's like not only what I can get you where you need to go, and of course, if you have a big following or brand or sports, or if you're an artist or whoever it is, and you need hotel blocks, I negotiate those things. I make sure that I can get everybody in the same hotel. I negotiate those things with the hotel. I keep the clients or the business owners out of it, so they don't have to worry about a thing. Everything's taken care of. If there's venue events, I negotiate things like that. If there is catering that needs to be involved, I get involved in that too, and that's not something travel agents do.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to find a way to help other businesses and other people, more so not only to get to one place to another, but also help manage. All right, you're in this place. What are you doing? Is there an event happening? What do you need me to do? And that's where I kind of extend myself.
Okay, I got you. Now, as like traveling, just planning as a whole is definitely a lot. And so,
Yeah.
can you explain that process? Like, what usually be the problems or the issues, or not necessarily had to be problems or issues, but like I would say, but I want to know that. And but like, what are things when people typically come to you about when they are looking for their traveling objectives and so forth?
I think, I guess to answer the first part of it, I guess the challenges or the problems usually, I think this would be for any travel agent, is the fact that we put a lot of time on planning. Like the traditional travel agent, does their due diligence to do, looked at the resources depending on what the client wants or where they want to go. And we've always find all different options. Okay, this is option A, option B, option C, and we try to give our clients those opportunities to choose. The challenge is usually when the client doesn't know what they really want, and I can tell you that as a travel agent, when you have somebody that's very undecisive or they thought they were decisive at one point, there's a lot of work that goes into just making arrangements. If there's negotiating involved, I mean, you're dealing with CEOs, other directors from these people that you're trying to help, manage to get, to what the client wants. And so a lot of times we don't like to waste their time because these are important people, and if they're willing to talk to me to help accommodate you as a customer,
Yeah.
and you change your mind, not only that, it's a bad look for you as a customer, but it's also a bad look for me because, I'm the face of, everything going on in the background with these people, with the people that I'm talking to and negotiating with to give you what you're asking for. So I think that's the biggest pain point that a lot of agents go through when people are not decisive and they want to change their mind last minute. And I guess I can say for the most part, and it's time consuming because sometimes it's, I mean, a lot of people think, oh, you're a travel agent, just book something. And like, people want to go on booking.com and, no, it doesn't work like that. You can go booking.com if you just want to do that. And then, you wing it from there and you don't know what's going to happen when you get there. But the thing about a travel agent is that they're not just booking. They're trying to make sure that when you get to where you need to get to, everything's taken care of. If there's issues or, something, nature happens and, there's a storm or something like that. And now you're dealing with the airlines and, you don't have to do that. We'll do that for you. We'll
Okay.
take care of that. So it's a lot of work and a lot of effort. And I guess the challenge is when people don't know what they really want. And I always tell people, man, before we start talking, I ask a lot of questions. I do a whole questionnaire.
Okay.
And I mean, I talk about everything. I talk about budget because at the end of the day, if you want to do something, if you got a budget, just give the person a budget. I mean, because that's the other challenge I get is people think if I ask for a budget that the agent's going to be like, well, if you're saying $20,000, I'm going to make sure you're going to pay $20,000, and it's not like that. The way it works for, especially for me is like if you tell me the budget's $20,000 and I can get you something for 10, I'm going to get you something for 10. I just need to know what my threshold is.
Okay.
Gotcha. Where we're at and what you're looking for. And then if there's room and you tell me it's $20,000 and I got your trip and everything, all your arrangements at 10, and you want to add stuff to it, then that's up to you. So, but challenge wise, it's just that. It's just making sure that, people know what they want. And sometimes if they don't know what they want, I mean, that's what we're here for. We're trying to help them through it. But you got to have some kind of an idea what you want. I'm not, you're calling me, why,
Yeah.
You're calling me. So, let's roll with it.
Right. It's crazy, man. Me being an entrepreneur in the fitness realm, it's funny like how other businesses or entrepreneurs, we have like some of the same challenges, but just in a different focus. Because I get exactly what you're saying when you talk about they come to you not knowing what you want. And I say that a lot with my clients. I say, you need to know what your future avatar is, fully what that person looks like. Because once you if you try to go towards a goal, if you don't know exactly what it is that you want, how do you know you're getting to it? If you don't know what it looks like. So there's something I definitely stood out when you said that. So why do you think like when they come to you not knowing what they want, what is they coming to you for if they not knowing what you want? Like what is it that they ultimately want at the end of it as well?
I think at the end of the day, when they come to, if somebody comes to me or you not knowing what they want, yeah, they're usually trying to shop around, and it's okay to shop around, and there's ways of doing it. But when you when you take time and if you get put on my calendar and you want to have a conversation with me and I do free consultations, I don't charge for any. But it's my time. And it's my time for you.
Well, yeah.
And if you want to have a discussion about like where you want to go or what you want to do, I'm still there for you. And usually I can get you to a point where you're like, all right, this is what I want to do. Because I'm very thorough. I pick your brain a lot. I'll talk to the customer. Hey, well, what do you like? Do you like, the beaches, or do you like, going, seeing the world, or, does the Alaska or the Northern Lights something that appeals to you? Do you love cruises? So, once I start breaking things down like that, usually I can help them. But there are times that people just call in or try to take time and they're, it's like they're looking for a bargain. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're looking for a bargain, you can do that online and not waste people's time, you know. But and the thing is that with me is like I don't overcharge anybody anything. I don't even charge
Mm-hmm.
for my service. You know, there are custom things that if I need to go above and beyond,
Mm-hmm.
legit in the logistics world, of course, there's a charge to it because the suppliers aren't going to pay me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I have to cover those things, but it's not expensive. You know, and most travel agents like to charge extra just for doing that. You know, and I don't do that at all.
Okay.
I'm all about serving. You know, if you get a price from me, that's the price.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's you're not. I'm not upping it in any way. So I guess for me, like to answer your question, is more a lot of people that don't know and they reach out, they still don't know. They're trying to bargain, and then they tend to waste your time.
Yeah.
And then they
Yeah.
go, they go about their business, and then at the end of the day, you find out they ain't going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
They just, it was just like I guess they had nothing better to do, but
Yeah.
but I encourage people to ask questions. It's like I don't try to deter. If you don't know, it's okay if you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not okay if you don't know and you're not going to do it anyway. Like
All right.
you're just shopping around for whatever reason. Maybe you're asking for a friend. Well, then tell your friend to call me. And we kind of do that. You know what I mean? But yeah, those are the things that I feel like you're either going to get the person that truly doesn't know and wants help,
Mm-hmm.
or the person that doesn't know and is not really looking for help. And
Okay.
you know, yeah, and it's
Okay.
hard. You don't know till you talk to them.
Right, right. And like I said, it was a couple things, other things you were saying there. I like, man, yeah, I've been there too as well. And it ain't even in the travel business. But yeah, so it seems like when they do come to you not knowing what's what, they really don't know what to expect. And at the same time, they're a little bit apprehensive, thinking you gonna charge them an arm and a leg, or just really try to take advantage of them in some kind of way. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Some of them come to you at.
yeah. I mean, I mean, travel agents have a bad rep,
Mm-hmm.
and for good reason. There are travel
Okay.
agents that they will charge you an arm and a leg just to talk to them, and and at the end of the day, the way we get paid by the supplier. We don't get paid by the customer. The customer, we help the customer out. We deal with the supplier, and the supplier gives us our cut from the actual supplier, not from the customer. So the customer is always going to have their good rate. And one of the things that customers don't know is that even when they book themselves on trips or hotel stays or wherever, anywhere they book, there's always commission built in on everything that they book, and they don't realize that
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I'll book myself, I save myself money. But if you book a hotel, say $100, let's say
Yeah.
$100 hotel stay,
Mm-hmm.
there's commission in there
Okay.
that's going to somebody else from wherever you book from, because there's always a percentage in there that goes to somebody, and sometimes it goes back to the place where sometimes it goes back to the hotel because it's an automatic thing. So and I learned this. I didn't even know this myself because I used to book myself to a lot of different things, and I'm like, man, this is a steal. I got I was like bargain hunter all day,
Mm-hmm.
and I found out that there was commissions involved, and that's kind of how I got into the business. It was like, if there's commission in everything you book, and instead of giving it back to the supplier, I want that. Give me that. Give me that
Okay.
cut. At the end of the day. So I always tell people, you could book yourself, you're still paying a commission no matter what, even if you don't
Okay.
have a travel agent. And so that's something that I always kind of let people know ahead of time. And but yeah, like I said, travel agents do got a bad rep because they want to overcharge on top of what they get from the suppliers. And with me, if you talk to me, if you go into my website, for consulting with me, I'll give you a voucher for a restaurant voucher up to $200 on discounts just to talk to me. You don't have to book. Like
Okay.
I'm giving you something to talk to me.
To
You know
talk
what
to
I
me.
mean?
I feel.
And then,
Yeah.
if
Yeah. I
you
feel.
book with me, I'm going to give you something else. And
All right.
that's the way I work. And because I feel like you have to have a good rapport with the people. I care about my customers. I care about, my clients. I care about the business, all the other businesses that I partner with. And I'm always trying to give back in any way that I can. So in order to grow, you got to take care of the people who are coming to you. And,
Yeah.
and people who come to me, they're automatically getting something just to talk to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's where I'm a little bit different from everybody else. And I guess that's the challenges that people have with dealing with travel advisors, is that they feel like they're going to get ripped off. And
Yeah.
it's not always like
Okay. And when you were mentioning about the commission part, like when somebody self-book themselves, you said somebody getting that commission. So I'm just asking, not trying to get like, so is there a way they can book and you talking about they can actually get paid for booking their own stuff? Is that what you're saying?
Well, they can't do it if they're not an agent. They can't
Okay.
do
Okay.
it. So
Okay.
that's the thing. You know, if I'm a regular customer, if I wasn't an agent and I went to the book at the Marriott, and
Uh-huh.
you know, and I paid $100 for it, the Marriott already has a set commission set aside out of that $100
Okay.
to an agent,
Okay.
to somebody else.
Okay.
Even if you're not using
I
an
get you.
agent,
Okay. I get you
yeah.
now.
So even
Okay.
if you're not using an agent, then that commission is still there. So guess
Yeah.
what the hotel does? They keep it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, so it's not like you're saving, you know, by not having an advisor. So might as well have an advisor that'll take care of everything for you. You don't have to worry about all the other, you know, if there's challenges or there's issues with hotels or flights, you know, you don't have to be on the phone trying to call and argue with them because something went wrong. You just
Yeah.
talk to your agent
Yeah. Yeah.
who got commission from the supplier,
Uh-huh.
and we have direct connects with these agents. You know, we're not going to talk to an automated phone. You know,
Yeah.
press
Yeah.
1 to talk to an agent, and then you're pressing 20, and you're still
Yeah.
not talking to a person. We have connections for that, so we're taking care of you in an extent, you know, beyond what you think if you're saving by doing it yourself.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. So like basically if they go to places like Trivago and is it Triviago or Triviago, something like
Yeah,
that. But
yeah,
and booking.com and so forth, those companies are in a sense like many travel agents in a sense is what you're
right.
saying. So as
Yeah,
soon as I get it now when you explain it a little bit more further.
yeah,
So when you pay them some way, they still getting the commission off those sales and stuff like that or whatever.
yeah,
I got you.
yeah. Because
Okay.
they
Yeah.
say, oh, it's 50% off, but guess what?
Yeah.
They still have to allocate the percentage for
Uh-huh.
commissions in case an agent takes over. But when there's
Hmm.
no agent involved, they keep the money. So they're actually making more money off of you.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, I get it now. So that's something I didn't know. You know,
Yeah,
you don't put me up on game.
yeah. And that's what we're here for. You know, and these are the conversations always have to have because
Hmm.
like, oh, I book myself all the time. I'm like, well, you're giving, you know, your suppliers more money, you know, and they're not going to take care of you if something goes wrong.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
And
with
that's
me, you're getting insurance and
there
you're
you
not
go.
paying extra,
There you go. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I feel you. Okay. Hey, I got you on that. And, okay. Now we're gonna go to other things too as well.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the logistics side a little bit more. Cause I want to dive more into what that looks like. 'Cause like I said again, that was something that really stood out to me that I didn't really know was a thing. For a travel agent is concerned, you know, I just thought they just book you like you. That's probably why they coming to you like that. I can book my own thing. Why I'm coming to a travel agent to book my own thing. So if you handle the other stuff outside of that, the thing that they don't know or think to go further in whatever they need to do, like the emergencies that might happen and so forth, then that's a whole nother lane that you or a service that you are helping in the travel, I would say, industry or process. But let's talk about the logistics. Like, what type of things do you do on the logistics side? Like, and who you usually do these things for? Like, you know, you mentioned CEO, you mentioned you know, business owners, entrepreneurs, and stuff like that. Like, what type of logistics help do they need? And then let's go into the artists, entertainers. Like, I know you have worked with people in the entertainment industry too as well in certain aspects. Like, what type of things though are they commonly needing help with that you do, that you provide services for in your travel agent business?
Yeah, so I currently partner up with the USA women's handball team.
Okay.
They're one of my clients. I
Okay.
also have I sponsor Mrs. Pennsylvania, who's running for Mrs. America
Okay.
in November. So she's running, you know, for that title.
Okay.
And I got Johnny Morea, who's a USC MMA fighter, who you know, I also sponsor, and he's making his professional debut in
Mm-hmm.
August,
Yeah.
and which we're totally excited about, and stuff like that. You know, the best example is with the handball team.
Okay.
So with them is like, I work with them where I partner with them and everything. They travel all over the world. I mean, they're going to be in the U.S. Olympics in 2028 in L.A. So that they're going to be competing, you know, for the gold. And right now they're going through a process where they're still recruiting different team members from everywhere. They're currently, it used to be they pretty much were all over California area.
Mm-hmm.
Right now they established a location here in Florida where they'll come in and stuff, and people, I mean, anybody that's trying to try out and become part of that team joins the team, and they try out, they go through different tournaments and events. And recently, to answer your question, they have an event coming up in August. It's the World Series of Handball, and there's people coming from all over the country, from Germany, Spain. I mean, all over the place. Then they're going to be competing in Vegas. I'm actually going to be there to support them. So I gotta, I'm gonna fly. I hate flying. I'm a travel agent who hates to fly, man. So,
The
but
irony.
yeah, right. So, but I'm there to support them. So with them, it was more like I take care of their blocks. So they have family, friends, the coaches, the team members that of course they travel and support the team. And for Vegas in particular, I work with them to get them, they have two different hotels they're staying at, and I had to manage and negotiate their blocks, which means for the women's team, it's a little bit unfortunate in their sense, is because they're a women's team and they're not as known as the men's team. They have to self fund themselves right now. I mean, right now it's
Okay.
growing and they're getting sponsorships. So I have to be conscious because they're also my clients.
Mm-hmm.
Not only are they partners, but they're also my clients. And what I do as the logistics side of it, handling their blocks and making sure that their families, their friends, and the players have a place to stay and stay together. I contact the hotels. I speak to their directors. I negotiate the nightly rates. I negotiate the accommodations for food. If the food doesn't allow, if they don't allow outside catering, and they have their own in-house restaurants and stuff like that for the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I negotiate all that stuff within their budget,
Okay.
and it's a back and forth thing, and that's where the logistics come in,
Okay.
because they're going to need conference room for the team meetings that they're going to have every day during that week's event. They're going to also need a room where, because these girls get injured, it's a physical sport.
Right.
A separate room so that they in the hotel, so that they can accommodate for medical, so these are the outside things other than the room blocks, is an example of what I handle in logistics, because it's sometimes if there's a need for more than just booking a room or booking a flight, that's where I come in, because you have to tell me, hey, we need this for our training, we need this for our medical, we need we need to accommodate if they didn't handle the catering side of it. We need, you to find a vendor that's going to help cater to bring to the hotel if they allow it, because some hotels do, some hotels don't. So the logistics is I have to do the homework. I have to go do the work. They don't have to worry about those things.
Okay.
So then I get back to them, let them know where we're at. If financially it works for them in their budget, we go ahead. We got a contract signed. And not with myself, but with the hotel I negotiated with. I introduced them. Everything's good. They sign off, and so if they needed a venue or anything like that in the future, for if they're doing a fundraising event, I would help them out with that if that's what they needed. So when I speak to logistics means whatever the need is.
Okay.
So travel, we usually try to partner up with event planners.
Okay.
And if something and which I do also do that. So event planners are usually local. I'm a remote company, and if these, like for example, the USA Women's Handball team, if they're traveling all around the world, I mean, I can't get a caterer that I partner with that's only in Florida or Vegas or wherever.
Right.
So I have to go and accommodate and reach out to the other countries and find that out for myself and reach out. So the logistics is more. We're doing a lot of homework. We're doing a lot of background information. We're doing all the checking where all the resources are. So if an artist, like in your case, if you have artists that need accommodations for a special event or a venue, I'll handle that. The only thing I don't handle is they're looking for DJs and stuff like that.
Okay.
You're on your own there, but
yeah.
But I try to do whatever I can within my power to
Okay.
negotiate venues and make sure that it's one, it accommodates to what they're looking for, and two, I try to make sure that if it's something that's good and worth it to them to invest in or be a part of, I would let them know if it's a venue that they're looking at, and me, I like to see people be successful and happy with what they're getting. If you call me up and you say, hey, there's this venue I'm looking at, and I want to go perform there, I want to do an event there or whatever it is, and I go check it out, and I find out they got a bad rep, and they're not, that's probably not a venue you really want to associate with, in that sense, where they don't accommodate with the lighting or anything else
Yeah.
that you might need. I'm gonna let
Okay.
you know, because you're hiring me to take care of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay.
logistics wise, I'm gonna let you know, like, hey, I don't think this is a good venue. I doesn't, I might give you another option, but you're the customer. If you say you
Hmm.
want it, at the end of the day, I'll tell you, hey,
Yeah.
this is what it is, and if there's a problem, I already told you, and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I wash my hands of it. But I want to make sure that whoever whoever I'm working with, I take care of them. I want to make sure that they know that they're in good hands. And if they say, hey, Alfie, you know, handle this, they can sleep good at night, because I'm not going to set them up to fail or stuff. But yeah, so logistics, to me, logistics means anything outside of the traditional travel that requires event planning, in a sense, or anything like that, that's outside of the box of what a
Yeah.
travel agent doesn't do.
Yeah. Yeah.
That you might need a manager or somebody, a promoter that usually might do something like that. I can handle a lot of it to an extent, of,
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to throw your party. I'm not going to have, I can have event planners decorate and do all the things, because I can manage and hire people to do that. Well, I won't be hiring them; they would.
Yeah.
But I can always recommend that, and so I would connect people to the right people, and
Okay.
whatever I can do, there's no limit. Like, if you tell me to take care of something, if I can't do it myself, I'm going to find a way to get it done. And then
Okay.
we have that conversations.
Okay. So like when we talking about the artists and entertainers and so forth, like will you like be able to help them? Like we know hotels and venues, you saying outside of that, whatever they looking to get to, you can help in certain aspects of that. So like what do they need? Like a tour bus or some kind of transportation for a large group of people, like bands and musicians, and or whatever and so forth,
Yeah.
having a whole group of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. If you needed a tour bus, I handle that. If you needed limo service, I handle that. So
Okay.
anything that, you need, because I
Hmm.
had, that's part of that's part of what I travel. Well, most travel agents do. We handle those, like rentals, car
Okay.
rentals,
Okay.
whatever. So we're very, me in particular, I'm very, very resourceful. Like, I can find opportunities to help in every way. If it's a road trip, like I said, we could do that. So I have connections with that. I have the availability to handle things like that. So yeah, if, like, for Mrs. Pennsylvania, who hopefully will become Mrs. USA,
Okay.
she has to go she also has to go to Vegas to
Okay.
compete for the USA crown, and she needs a limo. She needs a separate car just for her luggage. So because they don't travel with their luggage. You know what I mean? So I accommodate to whatever the artist, or or whoever it is, that if that's how you roll and that's what you need, that's what I accommodate to. So it's just more like, give me all the information, and I run with it. So
Okay.
and I always emphasize this, where anybody that I work with, give me details. Tell me
Okay.
not only about the money, what you're looking for, where you want to be, what kind of event is it? How many people are going to be in this event? Like, I need to know everything in order to help.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I feel you. So you definitely get creative with it in a certain way, pretty much. Yeah, I got you. Okay. So like we talked about the artists, entertainers, and so forth, but like so somebody, entrepreneur, CEO, what type of things do they need, and you help with?
So it's entrepreneurs. So a lot of times, if they're trying to grow their business, there's different ways I help out another business is. If they're a type of business that requires leads and they're having a hard time with it, I work with a lot of financial advisors. I work with a lot of insurance brokers, event planners. I also work with counselors, people that, you know, does, some kind of a counseling, whether it's mental health
Mm-hmm.
counseling or, just any kind of thing where they're trying to get clients. And a lot of times it's, especially, I always use insurance companies as a very good example because everybody knows if, if I was an insurance guy, Trey,
Yeah.
and I reach out to you, you're already like, man, I ain't trying to buy insurance. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
ain't trying to talk to me.
Yeah.
And so they have a hard time because people like they ain't trying to hear that,
Yeah.
especially nowadays with the way the economy is and how everything's expensive, especially in the insurance world,
Mm.
and it's hard for them. But that's their business. And with me and how I help them out is like, if you're a good salesperson and you know how to run your business, and if you're the type of person that if you had somebody in front of you that if you had them in front of you and that they're there listening to you, that you can close the deal, that's the most important thing. The problem is they're trying to get people in front of them. So what I help with those types of entrepreneurs, whether it be insurance or travel advisors or even real estate agents, I tell them, hey, look, what I'll do, what I can do for you to help you get those people in front of you is that, hey, I pay for vouchers that they're pretty expensive, but I have vouchers for, restaurants, like I mentioned earlier, restaurant discounts, a card, a hotel discounts from $100 to $500 off of a hotel stay,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
even a getaway where anywhere around the world, anywhere in the U.S., like 4 nights, 5 nights, whatever. And that one's a pretty cool one because it's like, for example, Punta Cana. If you wanted to go to Punta Cana all inclusive,
Mm.
a 5 night stay at Punta Cana in a hotel is like almost like between 900 and $1,200,
Right.
depending.
Yeah.
And you're only paying $100 in taxes and fees.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a no brainer. You know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah.
You stay in a whole week in Punta Cana all inclusive for 100 and some bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're just paying the tax. So
Right.
these are
Right.
the things that I offer. So so going back to that, what I do with entrepreneurs in that sense that need those leads and trying to get those people in front of them, I say, hey, why don't it's your business. If your business is ABC Insurance or ABC Financial Advising Company, go promote it as that and say, hey, if you come consult with me, I'm going to give you a voucher, no strings attached and, whatever. And they'll come to them just for, because people want free stuff. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, so they'll come to them just, and get them in front of them. And if they're a good salesperson, not only would the customer get those vouchers that I
Mm.
offer to them, they also get to lock in the deal where before they were having a hard time just trying to get them on the phone and trying to
Mm.
meet up with them.
Right.
So
Right.
so that's kind of how I help those businesses. And if in other cases, other businesses that if they want these vouchers, and they have a great customer, and it's all about customer service and customer appreciation,
Yeah.
they might want to give away the getaway, to wherever they want to go. And they'll come to me, hey, Alfie, I have this great customer, and they paid so much, and they're a recurring customer, and I want to show them my appreciation. And
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, yeah, just I'll send it over to them. So it's a partnership, and it's like if I know that if I'm working with a business, then they're happy that I'm giving them business, and they don't even have to mention Aries Elite Journeys.
Okay.
They don't need to
Yeah.
do any of that.
Yeah.
It's their business. It's ABC Insurance
Yeah. Yeah.
is offering you a getaway because you're a great customer, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what it's all about. Because what's going to happen, Trey, is that business is going to be like, man, Alfie's great, so he's getting me money coming in, and when people need travel or looking to do something logistic wise, I'm gonna send them over to Aries Elite Journeys, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a mutual, it's a give and take because
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't charge businesses for this,
Okay.
because I'm
Yeah.
all about relationship, and I believe that we're called to serve. I
Mm-hmm.
was born, Christian. I'm all about faith in that sense. That we're here to serve, and God blesses people that serve. And if I can help a business grow, they're gonna help me grow. It goes full circle. So the more you give, the more opportunity you give other people to grow in that sense. That I'm there. And then if they don't need vouchers,
Mm-hmm.
and they need somebody to help with, the logistics side. They do a lot of conferences, and they go
Okay.
to different events like that where they need those blocks and stuff. I'll handle that. I'll handle their negotiations for that stuff. And at the same time, if there is anything that they want for their customers or their employees, for
Okay.
an
Okay.
employee appreciation,
I
they
like
can
that.
give the vouchers too, and it's unlimited. Like if they need 100 vouchers, I'll give them 100 vouchers for whichever ones they need. And so that's one of the things that if they're looking to retain their employees, not only it's
Yeah.
not even about the customer, and all the time. Sometimes they want to keep their employees and they want to show their employees that they appreciate the hard work they do. And
Mm-hmm.
that's another way I help them out. It's like, hey, if you want to give it to your employees because they're doing a great job, they met their
Mm-hmm.
quota, and not only that they're getting a bonus, or they're also going to get a trip or a
Mm-hmm.
voucher of any sort, then give it to them. And if they don't give bonuses, and they don't, because they're not a big company, they could give them a voucher, which is, I mean, think about it. I use Punta Cana as an example, but I mean, you could go anywhere. I could send you to Italy if you wanted to. I have vouchers for that. So
Yeah.
they can give them that and be like, wow, this is worth, 2 grand, and I'm going to pay taxes on it. And of course, they have the ability to pay the taxes for them, and that's up to them if they want to do that and
Yeah.
make it
Yeah.
100% free.
Right. Right.
And I could do the same thing, but it's one of those things where this is how I help other businesses that they support their employees or they're supporting other customers. And if
Mm-hmm.
their customers are happy, they're going to tell their friends about it. They're going to come go see them, and and their business is going to grow. And then guess what? They're going to be like Aries Elite Journeys. You're talking about a trip, or you're talking about you need Aries
Yeah.
Elite Journeys. And what I've been blessed lately because, and outside of the call, me and you talked,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, my I've been getting a lot of phone calls, a lot of requests to meet with me with other businesses, just because word is getting out that Aries Elite Journey is not just a travel agency.
Yeah.
It's a partnership. I see myself more as a partner in other
Yeah.
people's business than a
Yeah.
travel agent.
Advocate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm.
So it's getting out, and people are reaching out, and they're like, "Hey, we want to talk," and we're just working things out. And like I said, it's all about that partnership, that relationship, and and I could go on Facebook, TikTok, and dance around all day. You know what I mean? But I can only go so far for my business. But
Right. Right.
I've learned that if you want to build, you build with other people. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, most definitely. And then like I said too, and then those same businesses and everything can patronize you too, back tenfold, other than just telling people about, that need traveling services. They can do things such as with you themselves. Have you had run into cases like that? The businesses that you partner with in a sense, have you had run into anything like that? Because like I said, we have talked about it too before. Like in the future, it's things I kind of want to do myself, where I want to have a event space where people can network and all that stuff like that and everything. I think that would be something I will reach out to you for, and then you could be able to accommodate the people who travel into this certain place and everything to have these networking events or whatever the case it may be. But it's, like I said, there's a future dream of mine, but down the line, or what I'm thinking about doing. But with what you already doing with certain partners, like, are you helping them with their particular travel expenses or needs and stuff like that? And how are you doing that with them? Like, how do they come to you back with that, other than just telling other people to go see?
I mean, so one of the biggest things, it's endless. I mean, I can give you different examples, and I'll give you one for example. I
Mm,
met with this great entrepreneur. She's like a woman's advocate. She helps with finances, insurance. She does a little bit of everything, and
yeah.
she's also a big donor to the Make a Wish program,
Okay.
which that's special. It's an amazing thing. If anybody can be a part of that, like by far, like do that. And what the amazing thing, and I kind of want to emphasize this more so than anything else, is with her. Me and her had a regular conversation, like when me and you started talking. We're like, oh, this is what I do, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. And then when you start feeling comfortable with somebody, with another business, another person,
Most definitely.
it's a whole nother kind of conversation, and sometimes what you think you're getting out of initially, you end
Yeah.
up with something way more, and
Yeah.
and it just happens. And I think it
Yeah.
happened with me and you, but
Right.
and it's like with her, it was so amazing because she talked about, her daughter and, and her health and how she got involved and,
Hmm.
people that I've lost in my family, friends, that, that passed away and that kind of affected me greatly in those in a lot of ways. And when we were talking about it, it kind of got like emotional because you started getting real personal. Well, with life, what happens in life, and sometimes things come unexpected. And even with myself, like I had a son at one point, and he passed away, 2 weeks
Sorry to
after
hear
he
that.
was born. And to this day, and this is one of those things where he it was it still affects me to this day. I don't have any other kids. So just talking and having that heart to heart, personal relationship with anybody kind of, opens up a lot of different things. And with her, what was amazing was she would, we kind of like talked and everything was cool. And we kind of ended the conversation. And all she said to me was like, you know what, I'm going to, expect something in an email, we're going to talk
Yeah.
later and stuff. And I was like, all right, cool, because I hear that from everybody, and some people do, some people don't, and it's all good. But it was sincere, I can tell. And I mean, not like maybe 15 minutes later, I get an email response for asking me to, she introduced me to be a part of that. And the director responded like, they're gonna try to work something out to, and kind of accommodate where I can help assist with that in some capacity. And and when those opportunities open, that they're definitely going to give me a call. And I thought like nothing got locked down, but it was just the thought of a simple conversation that brought that out to something that was very personal to her,
Yeah.
that she brought me into.
Oh.
And those are the things that I value the most, other than refer me to another company, refer me to people that need travel. Because I do get that with the other businesses. They'll be like, oh, somebody, I saw so needs travel,
Yeah.
connecting them with you. And then we kind of work that out. But so, yeah, to answer your question, you just don't know what you get. Like, I could sit back and say, oh, yeah, I always get referrals back. But it's not always that. Sometimes it's just something more that you don't expect. And that in itself, it's a blessing. And that's kind of why I circle back into like, just serve people, man. Just be honest and work with people who need it. Like, I mean, running a business is hard, man. Trey, you know that.
Yeah. I already know, man.
It's hard. It's hard. I got a couple businesses, and it's like it's all hard work. And if I had to do it by myself, and there are people that did, and I try to do it by myself, it's just
Mm.
hard to do, man. And
Yeah.
but when you have that camaraderie with other people to kind of work together and figure out how we can better ourselves through what we can offer other people, it's a whole nother level.
Yeah, I agree. I think people who going into just being an entrepreneur as a whole, artists, entertainers, when you see artists, entertainers in the most part, especially in the celebrity field, when they celebrities and so forth, you see them networking. You know what I'm saying? They collaborate. It ain't just them. There is a lot of people that connect. I know this producer, or I know this agent. He talked to so and so forth. Let me see if I can get in touch with that, and they go into those connections. But I think when it comes to business, we always think it got to just be us. You know what I'm saying? We don't have our own network. So I think the more people who start thinking in a way of a network, it would definitely help everybody, not just one person. It definitely help everybody. And then you got a team, and then you stand out more because you got more resources for this person than just what you can do alone. Because I that's definitely something I aspire to, especially with the Fit Master Speaker Lab that you are into as well, where it can be a hub. But we talked about this, like where it can be a hub, not just for me just coaching on my stuff, because I don't know everything, and I'm not trying to be everything for everybody. So if I can meet somebody that deals with the mobility or the rehab side of things, and have them in the group, and somebody and help somebody that's in the network or whatever, or I can refer my clients to in those cases, I would do that. You know what I'm saying? So, but me just trying to just be one person and it helped me to close. It more so limits me in a sense, and everything that I feel like that way people can see like, oh, well, he genuinely trying to make sure of my well-being. Because I always tell people that, like, even if you're not working with me, I still want you to succeed in your health and fitness journey and everything. And I try to provide ways I can do that, and so forth. So definitely, I like the camaraderie and the networking collab type of feel in growing your business in other aspects that you never thought possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I was just to say. I mean, and one of the things that I tell people, and I've learned, is that there's networking and there's relationship. And when I say networking, to me, it's a relationship. I have to have a relationship with that business. They have to have a relationship with me, because if it's just networking, you know, that's just a word. A relationship is,
Okay,
you show me, I show you. I'm
Yeah.
there for you, you're there for me.
Yeah.
Because I've ran into people where they say they want to network, and
I get you. I already know what you're saying. I already know what you're saying.
yeah, they want to network, but at the end of the day, it's not. They're just trying to get something, and they're very selfish.
Right.
It's what you could do for me, instead of what we could do for each other.
Right, man. I kid you not, man. From on the lineable, man, I had got to arguing with a guy because I like.
Tell you stuff.
Say what now?
I could tell you stuff about that too, man.
Yeah, man. I had to get the argument because his whole thing was like before we met on the lineable as well and everything. You can kind of feel the vibe if somebody trying to sell you something, And okay, cause we met a couple times. Cause the first time we met on the lineable, we didn't actually like connect later. We met a couple more times in these smart connects and so forth. Then that's when he said, well, man, we need to like hop on a call and stuff like that. Like, okay, cool. And then the first thing he did was he followed up like a couple hours before, he like called me to make sure I come to a call. Usually that's a sales tactic. Cause and everything, if you calling somebody to make sure that means you securing the sale to make sure that person coming. So I like when he called me, I like, man, I said, I'm gonna meet with you and so forth. But like I said, this a sales call because I thought there was a true, genuine connection where we try to learn about each other, and then we can see how we can work in the process. He said, oh, well, we can switch that. And when he said that, I like, so you were trying to sell. So but I was really apprehensive about meeting with him and everything. I'm like, man, is this truly gonna be a connection call? And everything. He's like, yeah, man, we just gonna see where it's gonna be. And and talk, had the meeting. And then basically when I started telling him about myself and what I do and everything, he was trying to cut that off so he can go on into what he wanted to go into. He didn't say like how I can fit in there or anything like that. He started going into what he was doing. And then I ain't gonna get into it all the way, but it just went from there. I like, man, look, man, I got mad because I asked you.
Yeah.
Don't sell to me. You know what I'm saying? I said, cause we can play this, both ways. I can like say, okay, how's your fitness stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like, or and everything. I can help you with your goal. And well, I think I'm good with them. Like, you see how that feels? Like I said, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't come to me with that if I didn't ask you for it. You know what I'm saying? And everything. But I digress. But I knew it. I knew where you were going when you said that, and everything. Yeah. So I get you getting being on the networking side, it's more so building a relationship between two, and you got to really vibe and mesh with that person and everything to really like, you ain't gonna really know a whole lot about them in the first meeting or two, but the more you do build that relationship, that person becomes top of mind when something arises and so forth in any aspect or facet of your business and vice versa. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, 100%. And that's where businesses fail, because they're already struggling. They're reaching out from every format. I mean, Alignable is not meant for sales pitches. It's about networking. And and like I said before, people see networkings in two different ways.
They look at it as a pool.
Yeah, and the thing is that what they realized that, like I said, I could tell you stories too. I had a guy who reached out. He was an insurance guy, and he was like, "Oh man, I heard a lot about you." And I'm like, "Oh, cool. Word's getting out. They're seeing that I'm legitimately just trying to build relationships. and help businesses out, and so I thought he was going to have a legitimate conversation with me too. And the first thing he said was like, "Hey, so how much you pay for your copays?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"What?" I was like, "Wait a minute, wait a minute." I said, well, we talking about like how we could work, with each other, like how, And he's like, "Oh yeah, 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 same thing, yeah, yeah." Then he was like, "Yeah, you could save, $250, a
Yeah.
month," and I'm like,
Yeah.
and I had to cut him off. I said, "Look," I
Yeah.
said, "I already see where you at." I said, "If you want to sell something, you should have said that from the get go, and I would have told
Yeah.
you I'm not buying. I'm not interested in that. That's not what I'm here for." And I was like, and I told him, I said, "Man, when you're serious about trying to build a relationship
Mhm.
and network, you give me a
Yeah.
call back." And he just did it. He just dumbfounded, because you know
Yeah.
what? I think I'm a good person. I think I'm open. I'm honest with people, and I always give everybody the benefit of the doubt, man. No matter what, even if sometimes the flags be, don't do
Yeah.
it. Kind of like with you were like, "Man, I don't feel it."
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean? But you
Yeah.
do it anyway, right?
Yeah. Right.
Do
And,
it anyway, and you kind of
yeah.
like, you know what? You just never know. Maybe sometimes your instincts are right,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
after I said that to him, I never heard from him ever again. It was kind
Of
of
course
like,
not. Of course.
I was like, and I was like, it's his loss, because he's obviously hungry.
Mm-hmm.
He's struggling. He was, he couldn't control himself, to pull back from the sales thing and come to a realization that, man, I could
Yeah.
have helped you.
Yeah.
Like, I could have helped you
Yeah.
if you wanted my help.
Yeah.
And instead you wanted to pitch me, and all you did was push me away. And now it's
Yeah.
like, now you're back in ground zero. And I don't know about you, Trey, how many people are actually looking to
Mm-hmm.
build a real relationship with other businesses, like,
Yeah.
legit, like
Yeah.
the people that say it, but
Yeah.
how many people are you really running into that really believe in that?
Mm-hmm.
Not many, but the ones that
You're right.
are,
Mm-hmm.
man, they're thriving. They're thriving. And it's like, it's an amazing thing. It's like, when I'm blessed with people, I'm like, "Hey, Trey, me and you are working together. I'm going to bless you with what I know
Yeah.
and what's going on." So that's the way it's supposed to be.
Right. And likewise, and everything. Even like I said, on Alignable, it was a girl. Well, I'm gonna say girl. It was a woman I met on there during the Smart Connect. I didn't see myself of us being for as like connection part, or for as partnering up in some kind of way. But she was interested when I told her about the podcast and everything. I said, well, just connect with me and everything. I'll send you, what I got, what I know, and everything like that. And then, cool, man. I met with her and everything. Like I said, I ain't try to like solicit her for no training or anything or coaching. I sent her the information that I said and saw her. And that was it, and everything. Then she actually came back to me, and she was like, asking me certain things about pod match, or should she do an agency and all that stuff like that. I'm like, well, I don't know too much about the podcast and agency, so I couldn't tell you that information. But I can tell you about pod match, and because it was definitely helping me and everything like that as well. But, like I said, I didn't want nothing from her. I didn't really see us partnering, but I know she was interested in that. So I let me send you this, and then, go from there, and then you never know later on down the line that olive branch I gave her, she can like, well, I know somebody that probably can help you.
Yeah.
And, vice versa with me, and everything like that. Even if we don't not just directly networking together, still you can be in top of mind here and there, and stuff like that for certain things. But it's crazy that you said that insurance, but if you remember, you said insurance agents get a bad rep.
Yep. Yeah.
So
That's
you know what
why.
I'm saying? So you circle back around. That's what that come full circle with that. Cause the guy I was telling you about, he was an insurance agent too. And then there was another guy I got on the call with. I didn't see no signs there. But as soon as we got on the call, that man went right into you. Anytime you put up a presentation,
I had to sit through the presentation because it was a lady, and I was like, I didn't want to be rude. I was like, "Man, she prepped for this. Let me go through the spiel." And then she's like, "So you want to buy it?" I'm like, "No."
Anytime you do that, well, yeah, this is a sales call. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they treat the networking things as a pool, like they putting they rod in and they trying to get clients. Now you can get some clients from that. Yeah,
you can.
You know what I'm saying? But I feel like the intentions need to be there. You really need to like say that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, be straight with it.
Yeah, but you're going to get a lot of pushback though, being up front like that. But you know what I'm saying? But I guess you need to do it in a way where it's more inconspicuous and where it doesn't seem like you're selling it, but it definitely entices the person that you're looking for to inquire about what you are what you giving, offering, and so forth. Now that's what way to do it. They asking you, and everything, or you can get it a way where they ask you instead of you presenting it to them. That's another. I would say that's another aspect. But yeah, I agree with you. But yeah, relationships definitely important.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, you don't have the relationship, that you don't have the network. Like,
Yeah.
you can't be in business with me if you don't like me.
Right.
Yeah, because you ain't gonna
Most
refer me. You ain't gonna refer nobody to me. You don't even like me. You know what I'm saying? So, like, and that's important. It's really important, man. It's not like, oh, it's not a business transaction. Okay, well, you do this for me, I'll do this to you. It's more like, yeah, hey, man, I like you, man. I'm gonna make sure people take care of you. You take care of me, and and like I said, it's like, I offer these things, and and I don't charge for it. I don't, I'm just, I had like for example, even when it wasn't business, I had some lady out of Pittsburgh reached out, and she wanted her daughter's in a dance class, and she was trying to raise money for dance recital like stuff. And she asked me if if I was willing to help her daughter raise money, and I'm like, hey, here, go raffle out this voucher, and raise money, and you know what I mean? Because why not? Like, why can't there's no business transaction there. It's about helping people out, and it wasn't even a business. It was a mom who just wants to support and fund her daughter to have to be a part of a dance thing, whatever it was. But if you give, you get blessed, man. And and if you don't have that and what's the good thing about it is that by me doing that for her, she's gonna always remember me. And her friend is gonna tell her friends, like, hey, this guy, Aries Elite Journeys, I reached out to him and he did this for my daughter. Man, that's all I need. Like, just I want to make sure that what I stand for is a real relationship with people. I want to have a good rapport with people. I want to have a good reputation, and my company, I don't want anybody. I mean, people always gonna say something bad about something, but at the end of the day, you can't help it. It's like you can't go on Yelp or Google and see 100 great reviews. Somebody got complained. You know what I'm saying? But
I don't have it too.
Yeah. So it's like at the end of the day, it's kind of like I made somebody happy, and I'm gonna help her daughter out, and and so they're gonna be doing the raffle soon. So it was like but all they did was reach out and they asked, and I said, yeah, like, why not? Like, I wasn't, she's not a business. She's not buying any travel from me. I'm not asking anything in return. She asked, and I was like, yeah, I'd definitely like to help you. I grew up on welfare, dude. I grew up in New York City, welfare kid. My mom raised 5 of us by herself. We had nothing, and the good thing about the way I was brought up is my mom taught us that we didn't need anything. We were good.
Okay.
And even though in the wintertime when I was a kid, I would play in the snow in New York City, and I had socks as gloves, and I didn't think nothing of it. I didn't have regular gloves. Okay. And, and so like I got older, somebody told me I was poor, and I'm like, I didn't know I was poor, because I grew up with love, and that's one of the things that that was instilled in me, and people that are less fortunate or any way, we all started from nothing. Some of us grew up with silver spoons, God bless you for that. But the people that struggled, that came from nothing, some people tend to appreciate more and want to give back, and then some people just don't learn their lessons, and then what happens? You go full circle back into the gutter because you didn't learn that there was a time that you were in that situation and you decided not to help out. Like, and I feel like things like that go full circle, and I'm all about giving. I donate. I do whatever I can. So it's important to me, because if somebody needs something, and I can help, I'm gonna help.
Yeah. Okay. Most definitely, man. And like I said, it comes back to you tenfold. Definitely. And like I said, not to knock them and everything, because we all on a line to make money. And networking and so forth to make purpose. Money. Yeah. But it's a way to do it.
Do it right. Everything. Do it right.
Yeah, but and that's why I be trying to like be real, particularly with my time, because I do these, do these podcasts, and then I'm on other people's podcasts, and then so like when they would be like some of them be just want to connect with you just to connect with you. I like, man, like, look, do you think we got something, that this is what I do? Do you think, do you have those type of connections and so forth and everything? Like, I wanted to make sense before we hop on the call, because we hop on the call and we really can't help each other, then we don't waste each other's time. So I be trying to be real particular with my time. If I'm gonna meet with you, like this, I'm seeing this might potentially go somewhere. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. But we need to, but at least not clear my mind that it possibly could have did that before we, go on the call, if that makes sense or whatever. But yeah, but I can go into more stories with that too as well, man. It's something, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, they mostly be, sometimes they just be more, so how can I help you so you can help me more? You know what I'm saying? You can tell it's still even one side, even if they coming to you trying to help you. Yeah. But with that said, now too, you were talking about on here on your guest intro form, you say we already talked about the relationships part and connecting people and opportunities, but you say you find creative solutions where others don't see them. Like, you kind of did that in a sense for me, in hindsight. But like, what are those outside the vouchers and stuff like that? What are other ways you have made creative solutions with people that haven't seen them yet?
So I guess I'll go fresh. I had somebody who called me up yesterday. She had a meeting with me, and she does a little bit of everything. She does like some like legal shield, some insurance stuff, and she was giving me telling me how her father runs an insurance company, and she's trying to like take off on her own, and trying to build it for herself rather than just working for him. And I was like, that's amazing. That's great. And so she was telling me she's from Chicago. And first, we were just talking. Like, when I talk to people, man, it's not, if you get on a call with me, I'm gonna be like, hey, man, how's the weather where you at? And she was like, yeah, I'm in Chicago, and I'm like, man, I love Chicago. And she's like, I hate it. So I'm like, right. I guess it's different when you live there, but I love going to Chicago, and I always had a good time there. And so anyway, we were just chatting, and then she was telling me about, I'm trying to run my business. And when she first initially came to me, and she was unalignable, and the way she came off was, hey, I have all this networking that I think we could collaborate, and and see what we can do to work together and all this stuff. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, and she just kept on messaging me, like, so we could get on this call. And I said, yeah, this is, I got this time and let's do it. So we finally did it, right? And my expectation was based on what she was telling me. She had this network. She was already doing kind of what I'm doing, helping other businesses, and to find out that wasn't true. Like, she doesn't have a network that, and she's trying to, get ideas, and, and she got to a point where she started opening up, because, when you're talking to me, I'm talking to you like you're my friend. Like we know each other. I'm gonna try to. I know at first it's awkward, and then after we break that ice, and like, where are you from? And then we start feeling each other, because it's all about the vibe anyway.
Yeah.
When she calmed down, I was kind of like, all right, let me just be me. And just, I was like, so what's, I appreciate it, and I respect that you're doing this. And she's like, yeah. And I said, well, tell me about your network. And she was like, well, to be honest, I'm trying to build a network. And I said, based on what you told me, because, I called it out because that's just me. Well, based on what you told me, she goes, yeah, to me, networking means I reach out, they talk back, and whatever. And I was like, I was like, no. I said, but all right. So, so she was like, honestly, I need help. I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm supposed to be meeting. She told me she had to meet up with some agency that will help her with her socials and marketing, and I guess to help her do ads, stuff like that. And she was like, well, she was like, well, what do you think of that? And I said, been there, done that. I said, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing now. And she goes, well, what do you mean? I said, social media is great. It's a powerful thing. You got to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But when you're in a business, if you're not an influencer, somebody well known, it's difficult
Yeah.
because you do, there's thousands of people that do the same thing, and they spend a lot of money on marketing on their social media, and they hire agencies like the one she's going to meet with. And I said, from my experience, I spent thousands of dollars doing it myself.
Yeah.
And out of those thousands of dollars that I did myself, I probably got two, three clients out of it.
Yeah.
It didn't even
Yeah.
cover what I paid.
Yeah.
Like it was a loss. That put me in the red. And she was like, I wasn't looking at it like that. And I said, you have to look at everything like that. You got to look at whatever you invest in your business. If you don't get a return on it and
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't cover what you spent, you're in the red. If you don't think like that, you're just going to keep spending money. And she was kind of like, she had like an aha moment. She goes, well, what do you think about me meeting with this marketing person? And I said, well, can you afford it? I mean, it's your business. You don't have to tell me. And she was like, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess I could if it would work. And I said, well, I'm telling you from experience, I would just market myself. Your small business.
Mm-hmm.
I would, what I would do is keep posting your own stuff. If you feel that when you have this meeting, it works for you, I'm not telling you not to, because it might work for you,
Yeah.
but you have to set the expectation and be realistic. How many people in what you do is in social media that you see now? And
Yeah.
she's like, a lot. And I said, when you look at what they're doing for ads, what does it look like? They're like, well, there's a lot of ads or whatever. I said, ads are expensive.
Yeah.
When you go in
Yeah.
like meta ads or you're doing stuff like that, you're spending daily. I did it,
Yeah.
and I said, when you don't, it only adds up and it's only worth it when you're spending, $200-300 a day on an ad.
Yeah.
And who does that?
Yeah.
People with money,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
people like us trying to make money. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, even if I had that money to be able to do it all the time, it's not worth it. I mean, so I had to coach her it turned into a coaching session. So
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
kind of what I mean when I try to help people understand outside of the norm, because if
Mm.
we're having a conversation and I have an intention of what I do and why we're talking about this, if we're talking and it's legit, I could partner up with you by just giving you advice, or you could give me advice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, she kind of was like, you know what? Thank you so much. I wish somebody would just be honest with me and tell me these things. They're telling me spend money, do
Mm-hmm.
these ads. And I said, you could still do that. I'm not telling you not to. It's your business. I'm only speaking from my experience. And if you need help, I told her I'd still help her. Even though
Yeah.
you kind of lied that you have this network, but again, because I liked her.
Okay. Cool.
You know what I mean? I liked her as
Yeah.
a person. I liked that
Mhm.
she was honest, that she didn't like continue with the bluffing about, oh, I got this going on and let's work.
Yeah.
She pulled back, and that in itself was like, I want to help you out. And I said, look, if you could figure out a way how I could be an extension of you for
Mhm.
your business to help you outside of those ads, and if you want to do ads, I mean, do them. I mean, I do them. I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
don't spend that money like that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to charge an agency to extra money, and you know what I mean. They're just going to take my money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I told her, I said, it's up to you if you want to do it. I would recommend to still meet with the person, and if they, they're selling something that might help your business, do it. But I said, if you want to help market, I can help you with marketing. You can use my vouchers if you want my vouchers to get your clients.
Yeah.
You can market that on your social media. Hey, if you
Okay.
come see me and consult, like, I'm going to give you a restaurant voucher, whatever. Like I said, I can help you with that kind of stuff. And she kind of had like this moment, and she was like, wow, I'm so overwhelmed. And I said, what, in a bad way? You know what I mean? And she's like, no, like the fact that you're actually trying to help me is amazing. And you're not even going to charge me for this. And I'm like, no, I said, I want you to grow, because
Yeah.
if you grow, what are you going to think of me? And she was like, I think I think you're a great person, and I appreciate you. I said, well, that's all I want. If you
Yeah.
appreciate me, you're going to talk about me. So,
Right.
but that's just a small example of what I mean. Like,
Okay.
I try to find different ways for them, because it's like, if you're looking for marketing, I wasn't, I don't, I'm not a marketer per se. Like, that's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
what I do, but that's where I'll find a way to
Yeah. Yeah.
help you.
Yeah.
And if it was a different kind of conversation, I'm going to find a different way, because I don't, I don't have it all. I don't have a map on like what exactly I'm going to do for people and how I'm going to do it. I go by what you tell me and what's your pain point. What is it that you're struggling with? And then my mind starts.
Okay.
Me and you already know, Trey.
Yeah.
When me
Mine
you
do too.
talk, my mind
Yeah.
went pull, and you gave me that look,
Yeah.
like what you thinking, man? I said, and then that's when you called me later. Like you were like, hey, let's talk. Because but it's something that it's not a game plan that I have written. I mean, the only plan I have is this is what I offer, and this is how I want to help you. If it's something outside of the box, like in her situation, I all of a sudden
Yeah.
became a marketer for her to help her
Okay.
business, and that's
Yeah.
not really what I do. But it was more like if you need marketing and that's what you need, and I could do that to help you, then market
Mm.
that, post that on social media because that's going to
Yeah.
get you clicks. People are going to
Okay.
see, oh man, I'm going to get something for free just to talk to you. Do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Do that.
Right.
And
Right.
if you're a good salesperson, you're going to lock it in, you
Yeah.
know? So, but that's what I mean. It's like, I can't specifically say I do this, I do that because
Okay.
I
I
kind of
got you.
I go with the flow
Flow. Okay.
and I'm
Case by case
very,
base.
yeah, my mind is, I'm, my mind goes, my
I
mind
feel.
goes.
I feel, that's another way of being creative, the reason for the show, and stuff like that
Yeah.
as well. And I didn't mention that too, like definitely, this helps to get that personal feel, that know, like, and trust of a person knowing who you are before they even come to you. So this helping those relationships build even more better before they even sit down with you. So it's important that we do this and shine the light on things. And that's another part of why I do this as well. Now, for is like I said, we talked about the traveling stuff, your for your service and so forth. Like, what other things do Alfie do? We already said the global enterprises and the headquarters and so forth. So, like, what other thing that you do, or other types of things in your repertoire, so to speak?
So Aries Global Enterprises is it's a corporate leasing company that I started almost 2 years, I think.
Okay.
And basically, what I do there is that it's almost like Airbnb arbitrage. I mostly focus on professional travelers that need a place to stay, and if my properties are like near hospitals and stuff like that for like the nurses or
Hmm.
doctors or lawyers or what
Okay.
whatever. So anywhere there's like
Yeah.
a business area, one of my locations is convenient because it's kind of in the middle where I have hospitals, but I also not too far from the beach, like 15 minutes, and sometimes
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
have families come there, and so I run that. So I do like co-hosting
Okay.
from that aspect, and so I have one property in particular, and then I partner up with other homeowners that are struggling with getting the traditional renter.
Okay.
So these days rent's really high, and most people ain't trying to ain't trying to be about that because the budget ain't right, especially with the way
Mm.
the economy is. And
Yeah.
the convenient part about how I help homeowners is I say, hey, if you want me to partner up with you, instead of you can't get sometimes their houses are vacant, like they don't have anybody in there, and they're paying the mortgage on an
Yeah.
empty house.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so this is how I can help you. I do the marketing, I do
Yeah.
everything else. I have my own analyst stuff that I go through
Okay.
to how to appeal to people. I use my travel side stuff that I throw into to the mix to get people to come
Mm.
as an incentive just for booking into certain places. So it brings the crowd in. And
Hmm.
usually the renters, instead of say if their rent was normally would have been $1,800 a month, sometimes they walk away with 4 or 5K a month.
Okay.
And I just take a percentage.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
they walk away with almost double or triple
Yeah.
of what their rent would have been, by just working with me, doing it on a short term basis, and how I
Okay.
market it. So
Okay.
so I do that, and it's going well, and it's still growing, and so it's kind of I'm wearing a lot of hats,
Okay.
and so that's one of the things that I do, and I kind of help out. And again, because one of my locations is here in Florida, that's it's near where the U.S. women's handball team is.
Okay.
And when they travel from all over the place, that they stay there, and it kind of helps keep everything circulating. And as I get more properties, they'll stay in those properties to kind of help them out. Again, like I mentioned before,
Mm.
they're self-funded, so I make I'll make my adjustments to help them out. And from that aspect, but then everybody else they're gonna pay what they gotta pay. You know what I mean? So we
Right.
gotta make
Right.
money.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I make it I accommodate. I handle everything. Everything's there. So I manage all of it. I have the cleaning crews that go through,
Okay.
and that, that handle all that stuff. I stock everything. You walk in, there's a gift basket with some goodies and
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
a wine
Okay.
bottle if I know that you're there for a special occasion. Like I had a couple that were married for over 60 years and they wanted to stay at my place, and I had a basket with a bouquet and all this stuff. And,
Okay.
like I do personal touches, again, it's just that customer service,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like, and I adjust to what the need is. And so it's not, to me, it's not like, oh, you're renting a place. To me, it's like, you're here for a special occasion. Like, I'm going to make it more special so you can remember me, and guess what, you'll come back. And so that's one of the things that I do with Aries Global Enterprises, and then the travel stuff. I didn't really get into Aries headquarters yet, but that's kind of what I do with those two things.
Okay. Okay, cool. And then as far as you said also the headquarters, what
Yeah.
that's about.
So Aries headquarter is coming soon.
Okay, coming soon. Okay.
Yeah, so right
Cool.
now that's basically I'm building a platform for entrepreneurs. And what the system is going to do is, how I'm building relationships and, with other businesses.
Okay.
It's going to have a platform for that. And there's actually going to be a bunch of board members. So you're going to have, if you're an entrepreneur, you're going to have a marketing team. You're going to have a legal team in it. You're going to have,
Okay.
there's opportunities how whatever your business is, the AI is going to adjust to it and know what the market is, as far as what you need to do, how to make money now, what are the processes you follow. So it's all AI driven, and it's like a one-stop shop where it'll handle all your emails, all your marketing, all your meetings. You'll get right now I have it on beta, so
Yeah.
I'm using it for myself. And
Yeah.
every time I have a conversation on Alignable, I say, hey, I spoke to so and so, and it pulls up their information and where their business is, and it tells me, hey, this is their pain point, this is what they might need your services for, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's like my brain inside of there, like how I can help them out.
All right, I
So
got you.
so
Yeah.
it has that, and it has ways to make money, that opportunities that you need to take as an entrepreneur, whether you're a sales person, whether you're a counselor, or like it kind of goes through everything. And right now it's at 75% done.
Okay.
But it automatically sends you emails and gives you a daily. Hey, this is what your agenda is. This is the person you need to speak to today. Don't forget that you have this revenue pending coming in. You need to close on this. So you actually get an email straight every morning from your AI saying, "Hey, this is your day. This is what's happening." It's
Give you a
working.
to-do list.
Yeah, it has your to-do list, and it
Okay.
changes every day. So,
Okay.
and you just talk to it. You tell it, "Hey,
Okay.
this is what I got going on." And if you do your investing or you do your books,
Yeah.
you could do your books in there. It'll set everything up for you, so it kind of saves you from going, during tax season. It automatically does your books, so it's a all in one thing. It's a lot of work, a lot of
Yeah, I
effort,
dig. Yeah.
man. But that's one of the things what I'm going to be offering to entrepreneurs as a subscription,
Okay.
and so I'm looking forward to that. That's going to change a lot of things for a lot of people. So it's going to be set up for certain. If you just have one business, it's going to be a lower price for on subscription wise. If you have multiple business, there's going to be one that, like myself, I got
Yeah.
multiple business.
Yeah.
You can still do all these different things in one app.
Okay.
And so yeah, so that's coming soon,
Okay.
man. It's a lot of work, a lot of testing, and I'm excited about it. I mean, I
Yeah,
can't wait. I can't
it's a
wait.
sound dope, man.
Yeah.
And everything. I haven't heard anything like that, but yet.
My brain, man.
Yeah. But now somebody I know who's similar got something in there, but it's in different lane. I might ask him. We can talk about it more later. But his name Brandon. He like they call him the super connector. These and other events I have been in. I had met him through and so forth. So I've been he actually if you want to check that episode out, Brandon Dre, he did a podcast episode with me and everything. But he does stuff with CRM and everything. So he's a CRM specialist. So it kind of sound
that's going to be that's part of it.
Yeah.
That's
and that's how he helps with his with his keeping his networking people he meet together. So he like with me, he'll like for me, for example, like he'll send you a form to fill out and everything, and it goes into his system and everything, and then you tell like who you are, what type of people you looking to reach, what their pain points is, and so on and so forth, and then it goes into his database. So anybody he meeting and everything like that, you're like, okay, hey, Trea and Alfie, y'all look like y'all might be a good, people to connect with and so forth. And then he'll just reach out to you and then say, Trea, based off, this guy, he seemed cool and everything like that for what you're trying to do and so forth. Would you like to meet him? So it helped him organize his networking efforts in a more, more efficient way. And I that's something I might look into him with for my networking stuff. Because inside Fitmaster Speaker Lab, I definitely told you about the networking events I want to throw. And then, like I said, I wanted to offer like a different service outside of just the quote unquote networking thing that we have been on. Now, still like on the back end, probably like still pair them up with some other people that they probably even didn't meet in the networking event, but a different service. So I definitely want to, once I get it to a certain point, I definitely want to, see what his CRM about and how it can help in that way. And I think that's something is needed.
Yeah.
We're going, cause like I said, all the networking events, there's a lot of them I've been to, man. And most of the time, insurance agents, marketers, real estate, you know what I'm saying? Legal Shield, all them people, there's a lot of them, you know what I'm saying? And it'd be the same people all the time, and it didn't really like fit the whole aesthetic of who I'm looking to convey to or the people I'm looking to reach and so forth. So I like, why not me just make my own, and everything. That's when the idea came up. But then with his CRM, I think they can help on the back end too, not just on the front end.
Yeah.
They coming through a network event, and then, but it's some other stuff I compare them with and stuff like that as well. So, but yeah, but I like that, man. It sounds exciting and dope, man. Definitely.
I'm excited.
Wait till you get it out.
Yeah. Yes, because now everybody's using all these different apps and multiple CRMs, and I'm trying to, what I'm building is trying to keep everything in one spot. Like you don't have to go to Chat GPT or anything like that. Everything's going to be in one spot. If you don't have to go, if you want to market, like, how, that the lady that I told you about, that she's trying to pay somebody to, do her posts on social media, this thing will do all of it. Like, and calendar it out, and all you got to do is approve it, and give you advice, who to talk to, where there's money, like where you're missing money at, and how to get there, it's a one-stop shop. But yeah, it does a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it sounds like a business coach.
Yeah.
AI system, baby, what it sounded like. Okay, cool. Like I said, it sound exciting too, man. Looking for big things with you and everything that you're doing too as well. Okay, cool, man. And we talked about a great deal. So, is it anything that you want to talk about that we haven't discussed today?
I mean, I think we touched on everything. I think the one thing I do want to emphasize, and this is very personally important to me. I like the people that I work with, and I know that one of the biggest things is that I always want to promote the people that I work with, because I stand by, what I say. If I'm going to work with you and I'm going to support you, you're going to see it. I'm not just talking about it. Yeah. And but one thing I do want to point out is that the people that I currently sponsor, like the USA Women's Handball Team, they do need support. And if anybody, you can look them up online. They have, opportunities to people to help, with their fundraising opportunities and stuff like that, to help support that team. I mean, this is a team that's going to represent the U.S. in the Olympics in 2028 in LA. Like, be a part of that, help them out. I mean, if there's any businesses out there that, want to help sponsor them and help support them in their way. Like I said, these girls some of them are working extra jobs just to be a part of the team. And I would hate that these talented girls that are in this team, end up not making it, to the Olympics just because they can't afford to make the trips to the games.
Yeah, I feel.
I don't think that's right. So the one thing I ask is, if you're a business, if you're a person that's willing to help support this team, please do. They can reach out to me direct, or reach out to them, one way or another. We're trying to work with them. Mrs. Pennsylvania, her name is Sandell Taylor.
Yeah,
she needs support too. I mean, the pageant world, the modeling industry, That
Yeah.
is expensive.
Yeah.
That is not a handout. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're out there and there's flashy lights and cameras,
Right.
but
Right.
you know what? There's real life and there's real finances that go with that. And she's such a great person. She donates to the community. She does free haircuts too.
Okay.
People that can't afford it, like she does so much.
Mm.
And I can't emphasize enough for people to help support her. Sandell Taylor, Mrs. Pennsylvania. You can look her up. You can look her up on my website. I have her locked up as a lead partner.
Okay.
And again, Johnny Morera, he's making his debut, man. Go check him out.
Most definitely.
In August, he's a good guy, a tremendous athlete.
Yeah.
Also gives back, good heart. And I mean, Johnny is one of those people that I'm also proud to sponsor, and I just showed him some love, man. Go on online, go check out his Instagram, like his stuff, comment, follow him. There's big things coming for all of them, and that's really all I want to do. I want to put people out that I support 100% and want to help along with other
Hmm.
businesses and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's really what I want to, if we're closing out, I want to close out with that. Like, I really want to help these people out. And please follow, if you want to follow me and I'll connect you to these people. Like I said, please help do something, if
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
need help.
Yeah, we almost at the closeout, but it's other thing. I would be remiss because I want to ask about this. Like you got all these things going on. Like, well, it sounds like you got two business going on, working on a third. Similar to me with this podcast, the network, and also my coaching. So we in the same. I understand that grind and how arduous that can be and tiring sometimes that can be and so forth. So with that said, like how do you keep yourself up? Like what's your fitness stuff like that? How you keep yourself sane and your mental health and your physical health and everything as a whole?
So I'm busy a lot. So what I used to I used to go to the gym all the time, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
now it's like seldom. And so one of the ways that I try to stay fit, and a lot of people is controversial because they're like, oh, you shouldn't do all
Yeah.
that. But for
Mm-hmm.
me, and what's worked for me, and I probably feel like I could feel a lot healthier if I did actually get
Yeah.
physically into the gym. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I honestly, I'm a big protein. I do a lot of protein shakes during the day to
Okay.
help with energy and stuff like that, and kind of making sure that I'm not exhausting myself, with the natural where your body exhumes, and naturally they need that protein to kind of help fuel that because if not, you get
Yeah.
sick,
Yeah.
and I've learned that, and I also, I'm big on peptides.
Okay.
I know people are like, oh, peptides. No, man, there's peptides. I mean, the fact that there's a reason why the pharmaceutical industries don't want you to be a part of that is because there's not a lot of side effects that are involved with peptides. They're supposed to naturally help with what you already have in your body,
Yeah.
and emphasizing that instead of putting something in that gives you 20 side effects, including wanting to shoot yourself in the head or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah. Yeah.
bleed through your eyes or whatever. Like all these side effects, man, is like, man, it's insane.
And
And with peptides, you don't have that. It's just natural stuff in your body that it helps enhance. And I've lost a lot of weight, with peptides, certain peptides. I take peptides for cloudy, sometimes my mind gets a little cloudy and stuff. And, just because I got so much going on, it just kind of helps with that. So it keeps me fit. I've lost, healthy weight with it and just eating a lot of protein. Protein's important. You got to have that. Drink a lot of water. Things like that. And I do walk a lot. I do like to get out and do things. So I do physically do stuff
Okay.
when I'm able to, and if when I can't get to the gym, and when I do get to the gym, I'm in there. I used to kickbox. I was always into kickboxing, and I injured my knee. I got my meniscus tear and twice. So I kind of had to take it easy with that, but I was big kickboxer. And whenever I get a chance to do that again, that's part of my big fitness that, be doing something physical, from that aspect. And then the cardio is hardcore with that, man. If you don't
Mm.
do anything else, if you don't like to run, if you don't like to,
Yeah.
do jumping jacks or jump rope, man, go
Yeah.
kickbox, man. Go to the
Okay.
gym, get out there. That just naturally, your whole body's being used when you're throwing punches, your
Yeah. Yeah.
kicks, and you're doing these, natural squats, and so I probably was at the best fitness, health in my life when I was constantly doing that. I was like
Yeah.
every day for me. And now I
Yeah.
got to limit myself. I'm trying to get back into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of how I try to keep fit. And I read a lot of stuff. I've gone into your dailies, the things that you got in your
My network. Yeah.
in your network, and
Mm-hmm.
I read that, man, just spot on, like just spot on
Okay.
on what you share on there, and it's like, man, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, what you do is like legitimately something that is easy to follow. You're not asking for a lot. It's simple things that it's natural. It's not like you're spending extra money to get protein in. You mentioned, getting tuna. Like, I mean, can of tuna is what, $1 something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, there's so many things that you could do to keep fit, and that's kind of where I'm at. I just wish I was more in the gym. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm
Okay.
at. But
Hey.
I do things. I do
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you in the network now. So like I said, it ain't just like you because we got this type of relationship and everything. You can ask questions and stuff like that. I'm here to help you in there. You in there. So ain't like I'm be just gonna give you some cookie cutter answer and everything like that. That's what that network is for and so forth. In other aspects and so forth. But yeah, I definitely feel what you're saying, and that's cool too as well. With I always tell people, and I would tell my mom too as well, like body in motion, stay in motion. It don't have to. A lot of folks just think it got to be something that, kickboxing to them could sound like that's a lot, but it don't have to be that normally. Just find something that fits you and what you like to do and able to do and stuff like that too as well. But stay active with it or whatever. And then just that alone, not necessarily working out at the gym and so forth, or however. Just that alone, your body will change from that. You'll see change from that. I think when we get older, we just get so sedentary and caught in our ways and think because we get older, I'm supposed to feel like this. I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
hurting. I'm supposed to be slow. It's because you stop doing the thing that you were doing in your youth and everything because you're older. So the age don't have anything to do with it. It's how is your thought process and when you got to this age and so forth. You start, but yeah, I digress. But yeah, but you in network, so we're
Yeah.
definitely here to help you with that too as well, and
Yeah.
everything. Even so the relationship, how you talk about you doing in your relationship, that's my side of things, or how I help you too as well. You see what I'm saying? So it goes in a circle like that. Okay, cool. So we definitely gonna close it out. We've been talking a good deal. We can keep going on.
Man, now I'm ready to keep going, man. I was all nervous, now I'm like, let's
Yeah,
go.
I could tell. I could tell when you shifted. You know what I'm saying? When you got comfortable, yeah. But yeah. So, but most definitely, and it's great. So I'm cool and glad that you were feeling it, you were enjoying it and everything. You kind of found your lane and everything as well. Being your first time doing the podcast, but so like out of everything that we talked about today, what piece of advice do you think you would give people like going when they come into when they approaching traveling, needing help with their logistics and stuff like that? What type of advice would you give to them, or even somebody looking to do the things that you are doing in some kind of aspect as well?
So I guess that's a two-parter. So
Yeah,
I think for as far as advice to people that are looking to travel,
yeah,
be honest. Like, I mean,
uh,
you don't have to, if you don't have to come in and pretend that you got this money to spend. There's a reason why we ask for a budget. Is not to make it look like, if you say your budget's $1,000, okay, let me work with you. Like, be honest with what you're looking for. I'll help you be realistic. But one of I guess that's really the biggest advice is when if you're gonna meet with a travel agent, if you're not meeting with me, be honest in what your budget is. Be honest on what it looks like as far as where you really want to go, even if it sounds like where you want to go might sound expensive. Like, say you wanted to go to Europe, and go
mm,
outside of the country, and your budget's only 1,000, and your mind is like, I can't go nowhere with $1,000. Man, yeah,
mm,
you can. There's ways. We can work with you. Just be
yeah,
honest. Don't set a budget of, oh yeah, I could do 50 grand. Don't say that, because at the end of the day, the agent's always going to accommodate to what you're asking for, not by the price that you set. Is more about what works and what it is with the budget. Now we have to have a limitation as an agent. Like if you give us the budget and we have to work around that and do that extra work to stay in that budget for you. So if you give me a big budget, I mean, I'm gonna make sure you run away with the cheapest price, because I'm not a price gouger. You're
Mm,
not paying me. The supplier is paying me. So at the end of the day, just be honest with what you want to do, where you want to go, how much money you actually have to spend, and we can work with you. Like that,
okay.
we're gonna get you wherever you want to go. I promise you that we're gonna get you
Yep.
there. Just be honest,
Right.
so
Right.
that way I know where I need to go to get help you with that resource. And I
Yeah.
guess you had the other second question you had was
There was just a part two to the first question, but I got one more question after that. But the other part is like, is somebody like looking to do some of the things you are doing, like they want to be a travel agent or something like that? Because then think about, as a business, like that, because people just thinking like, well, I'm just booking stuff. That's it. And like maybe they might not see a business in it, but this for entrepreneurs too, like who got that entrepreneur mind, might want to partake in this. That's what I'm saying.
absolutely, yeah. I could definitely help you with that. Like I mentioned earlier in this podcast,
Mm.
I do mentorship,
Okay.
and there, of course, the traditional person who would try to start a business as a travel agent,
Mm-hmm.
it's expensive. There's licenses, there's all these things that you need
Mm-hmm.
to become an agent, and usually it could run you from $5,000 to $10,000 to $20,000 a year, like
Okay.
easy,
Okay.
if you try to do it on your own.
Yeah.
What I offer is I do mentorship, and I am part of a Archer Travel, and
Okay.
they're a hosting agency. And what they do is, instead of you spending all this money to do it on your own, they'll give you all the licenses, they'll give you all the training, everything, and
Okay.
it's $89 a month for your
Mm-hmm.
license.
Okay.
Just like you would go to school to be a lawyer or a doctor, you're
Mm-hmm.
investing in yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're investing in a license, and all the training's free, all the marketing training's free. You have
Okay.
me, because I'll be
Yeah.
your direct coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can help you with whatever you're doing, or whatever goals you have. If you want to focus on cruises, if you want to focus on just doing exotic travels, or romantic getaways, like whatever your niche is, or you want to do it all. Like I do it all.
Yeah. Okay.
I can help you with that. I do have people in my network.
Okay.
I have my own specific team that I cater to when they have questions and they need support on anything. And there's no charge for it. You're only paying for your license. So
Okay.
$89 a month is going to give you my mentorship with other people who've been doing it way longer than me. You'll be a part of that network. You're training in marketing, training in how to get leads, training in what I do is outside of the box. People in my network aren't doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But if you want to do what I'm doing, I'll help you with that. So,
Okay.
but yeah, if people want to be involved in that, there's perks to it. If you're a travel
Okay.
agent, you get discounts to your own
Yeah.
trips. You get,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I got
Okay.
free cruises that just because I took that training, and
Yeah.
it cost me nothing.
Okay.
So,
That
if you
was
people want to get involved in that, there's a link. I could share that with you,
okay.
and that you can schedule a call. That you'll sit in through a presentation. It's like half hour. It's live with my other colleagues. They'll
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
over to the whole spiel. If you don't need the spiel and you want to do this, I'll show you how to
Yeah.
sign up, and
Okay.
that's pretty much it. It's
Okay.
easy. It's a lot of work, but it's not get rich quick.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you're
Okay.
looking for that,
Yeah.
don't come to me.
Okay.
It's
All right.
work. It's
Gotcha.
work.
Okay, cool. But they were more than just giving them advice. You were actually giving them an outlet to how to start a business. I wouldn't even ask for that. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. I appreciate that for you sharing that. Now, and the last question is like, out of everything that we talked about here today, what do you think would be the biggest takeaway that people can get from this discussion we had today?
Trea, honestly, I think the whole I, to me, I think the most meaningful part of what we just did in this conversation was let people know how important it is to look out for somebody else.
Yeah.
Stop being selfish.
Yeah.
If you wanna grow,
Mm.
put yourself out there and help other people out in whatever way you can, whether it be an individual or whether it be
Mm.
with another business. When you think about networking, think about a relationship, think about it being, you're not marrying the person, but you're in a
Yeah.
relationship with them.
Right.
So my biggest takeaway, I think, for this podcast was more about how you can help somebody else. So, because everything comes full circle. Whatever you do for other people and how you help them, it's going to come back. Like if you're a small business trying to make it, and you're struggling, reach out, and even if you think that even if you think you have nothing to offer, look at me. Sometimes, man, things just come out,
right.
And you just never know. Like, just have that conversation, because you never know what one conversation can do and how valuable you really are that you didn't even think of. And that's just me every day. Man, Trey, that's you. You talk to people and you see things. And I tell you, I think the biggest takeaway from this podcast, even though I'm rambling on, is build a relationship. How valuable it is. Help people out. If you can help somebody, even if you're not getting nothing back from it, just help them. Like, just be there, show support, show that love, and build that community.
Right. Most definitely. And like I said, it comes back to you tenfold in other ways that you never even thought, Yeah. Okay, cool, man. I appreciate you for sharing that. And before we get out of here, let everybody know once again how they can find you, learn more about you and your services, and so forth. So basically set your links out again one more time.
Aries Elite Journeys, like ARES Elite Journeys. You'll find me on TikTok. You'll find me on Facebook. You'll find me on Instagram. Hey, help me out with the Instagram. Yeah, you got a lot of followers on there because I don't really push it too hard. But yeah, just follow me there. And if you're looking for mentorship, I'll give you a link. I'll share that with you, Trey.
Okay.
If you're looking to become a travel agent, I'll help you out with that too. But Aries Elite Journey, ARES Elite Journeys with an S.com.
Okay.
My phone number's in there. My email's in there. Reach out, follow me on social media, send me messages on social media. I'll respond back. I respond to everybody. So, I'm not smug like that. So if you DM me, I'm going to respond back to you. You let me know what you need help with. Whether it's entrepreneurship questions or whatever, or if it's a business that we want to work out something together, reach out. You got my email. If it's, travel, you want to go on a getaway or something like that, reach out to me. And like I said, on my website, I give you free stuff just to talk to me. So AriesEliteJourneys.com.
All right. All right, that's what's up, man. Y'all go check Alfie out for your traveling needs and more. And Alfie, man, I appreciate you for coming on the show, sharing you're welcome, man. Sharing your journey, sharing your business, your ideologies, and really like for how you want to help people and everything, not just on the traveling need, but just in more and just how you want to help people in their business and so forth. So I appreciate you sharing everything here with us today. And this ain't over with between me and you. We definitely gonna be connecting here more.
Oh yeah, so we got a lot to talk about, Trey. Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely looking forward in our partnership and everything, and us having a fruitful relationship and helping us, in growing and being more successful as we scale and grow together, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Trey. Thank you for making this easy, man. This was scary, but I'm feeling good, man. You did that just shows what kind of host you are, man. You did. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Like you did good, man. Like I told you, man, before, I could tell when you shifted. I can tell you when you was a little nervous at first, and then I was like, okay, now he don't ease on that now. I wasn't finna try to trip you up or anything like that. I don't know what you was expecting, but I wasn't gonna do that.
Yeah, I was like, where were you at the night? I was like, like, oh. No, we're good, man. But this was good, man. I appreciate you, Trey. I do. All Thank you.
You're welcome, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. So with that said, we out of here. Stay sculpting, stay creating. Peace.
All right.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode. If you enjoyed it, be sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to the show wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. If you're looking for fitness coaching to help you reach your goals, want to join our animated network for fitness guidance, collaborations, networking, and community, or are interested in being a guest on the show, check out the links in the description. Stay creative, stay fit, and we'll holler at you next time.